back to Leonardo's Learning Channel. Today we're going to talk about snacks. We're not really talking about snacks, Leonardo. Yes, we are. Well, I mean, we're talking about ratios. Snack mix, it's right there on page 269. Okay, all right. Can I take over now? Do it wrong. Leonardo. Stupid. All right. So we are back and talking about ratios, and it is true that the first problem on page 269 is about snack mix, but really it's about ratios. So open your book up to page 269 and let's take a look. So Scott is making a snack mix using almonds and raisins. For every 2 cups of almonds in the snack mix, there are 3 cups of raisins. Ariel is making a snack mix that has 3 cups of almonds for every 5 cups of sunflower seeds. If Scott and Ariel each use 6 cups of almonds to make a batch of snack mix, who will make a larger batch? First of all, these are not very good snack mixes, right? You got to throw something else in there, right? Like a different kind of nut, maybe some pretzels, yogurt, something. But that's neither here nor there. Let's take a look at this from the perspective of a ratio. So where do you see ratios in here? Let's see. Scott is making a snack mix, almonds and raisins. Okay, so what are the values for the amounts of almonds and raisins? Every 2 cups of almonds, 3 cups of raisins. So there's a ratio. I'm going to write that down there. And then Ariel is making a snack mix that has 3 cups of almonds for every 5 cups of sunflower seeds. Okay, so both this and this are talking about almonds. If Scott and Ariel each use 6 cups of almonds to make a batch of snack mix, who will make a larger batch? How do I figure that out? Well, I have to come up with equivalent ratios for each of these and then add the total amount together. So if Scott used 6 cups of almonds, then the equivalent ratio, well, I multiplied 2 by 3 to make it 6, so I've got to multiply the number of raisins by 3 also, so now that's 9. So now the ratio is 6 to 9. What are these talking about though? Cups of things, right? So I've got 6 cups to 9 cups, and when I add that together, that's 15 cups. So then what would happen with this? Well, again, this is going to turn into 6 cups, and I want an equivalent ratio, so I had to multiply 3 by 2 to make it 6. So I'm going to multiply that 5 by 2 also, and I get 10. Now what am I talking about again? This is 6 cups and this is 10 cups. So when you add those together, you get 16 cups. So who has the larger batch? Ariel does with 16 cups. But neither one of them are making really, really great snack mix. Anyway, focus on math practices. Scott and Ariel want to make as much snack mix as possible. But no more than 25 cups of mix. Okay, that's just strangely written because you just said as much as possible, but no more than 25 cups. Okay, let's keep reading. If they can use only full cups of ingredients, in other words, no halves, who can make more mix without going over 25? So what they mean to say is as much as they can make, but not more than 25. Up to 25. All right, so think about that one. Keep those ratios in mind and see who can make more mix without going over 25 cups. Okay, pause the video. And here we go. So I said Scott can make more because if you keep adding the amounts, you get to 25. Ariel would be 24 or over with 28. Scott can get right up to 25. Okay? All right, let's take a look at page 270. Okay, now we've got Dustin and Adrian playing baseball. Dustin had 3 hits for every 8 at-bats. That's not bad. Adrian had 4 hits for every 10 at-bats. Also not bad. Who has the better hits to at-bats ratio? So they put those ratios in a little table for you. Now, what would you do to compare those two ratios? Remember what we did in the problem with the snack mix? Well, when I look at 8 and 10 for at-bats, I can see that I could come up with a common thing. So what if I kept measuring until I gave them each 40 at-bats? So I came up with equivalent ratios where they had 40 at-bats. Okay, so this 8, what did I have to do to make it equal 40? For the 10, what did I have to do to make it equal 40? I'm going to leave it there and let you finish it and find the answer, okay? Now let's take a look at this next one. Extend and complete the ratio tables for Dustin and Adrian until the number of at-bats is the same in each table. Okay, I guess it's kind of telling you what to do, right? And yeah, so they said Dustin 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So he got 15 hits for 8, 16, 24, 32, 40 at-bats. And then for Adrian, counting up to 40, 10, 20, 30, 40, 4, 8, 12, 16. So Adrian got 16 hits for every 40 at-bats, so he has the better ratio. All right. Cameraman? Try it! Marlon had 6 hits in 15 at-bats. How does Marlon's hits to at-bats ratio compared to Adrian's? Okay. So how can you do that? You've got 6 hits for 15 at-bats. What did we do for Dustin and Adrian? We found a number of at-bats that we could have for both of them in common. So can you do the same thing for Marlon and Adrian? Convince me. Based on their hits to at-bats ratios, who would you expect to have more hits in a game, Marlon or Dustin? So work on that. Pause the video and come back when you're ready to check your answer. Okay. So, Marlon. Marlon is matched with Adrian, and Adrian is better than Dustin. So if you look here, Marlon has 6 hits and 15 at-bats. That means that he would have 12 hits and 30 at-bats, which is the same as Adrian. So he and Adrian are the same. And Adrian is better than Dustin, so Marlon would be better than Dustin. Okay, let's look at the next page, 271. We've got fishies. We've got guppies and mollies and angelfish and more mollies. Due to compatibility and size restrictions, only certain types of fish can live together in an aquarium. So not all fish get along. They, mollies tend to play really loud music till late at night. Angelfish really don't like that, so they shouldn't even be in the same tank. I don't know why they're even in there. But anyway, if there are 15 mollies in each tank, with the ratios shown at the right, which tank has more fish? So the ratio in this one is 4 guppies to 15 mollies. The ratio in this is 2 angelfish to 3 mollies. So what they're saying is there's this is the ratio, but the actual number of mollies is 15. So you have to fix these ratios, find an equivalent ratio where there are 15 mollies, then see how many angelfish and guppies that means, and figure out which tank has more fish. So they created little tables here and found that there were 12 guppies for every 15 mollies and 10 angelfish for every 15 mollies. So that means there are 27 total fish in here and only 25 in here. So tank 1 has more fish. 1, 2, 3. Try it! Tank 3 has a ratio of 3 guppies for every 4 angelfish. Oh, tank 3 is not even here. 3 to 4, okay? Here's the table. Complete the ratio table to find the number of angelfish in tank 3 with 12 guppies. Okay, so what do you have to do? Do this one on your own and then come back and check your answer. Okay, so if you extend the table here so that you have 12 guppies, you'll find that you have 16 angelfish. So that means that tank 3 has more fish, because when you add those together, you get 28. Okay? Now, let's look at our last page for today. Page 272. Okay, you can use ratio tables to compare ratios when one of the corresponding terms is the same. That's kind of what we were doing. So we've got Teresa's purple paint mixture and Hala's purple paint mixture. Okay, I guess they're making purple paint. So Teresa's is, she's got 2 cups of blue paint for every 5 cups of red paint, and Hala has 3 cups of blue paint for every 7 cups of red paint. So it's when you get up to 6 cups of blue paint, Teresa has 15 cups of red paint. When you get to 6 cups of blue paint for Hala, you only get 14 cups of red paint. So Teresa used more cups of red paint than Hala. Okay? Now, do you understand? How can you compare ratios to solve a problem? Think about what you're doing, what we've been doing there, and write your answer. Then in example 1, how many hits would Adrian have in 50 at-bats? So go back to example 1 and look at Adrian. You know he's got 4 for every 10. So how many hits if he had 50 at-bats? Then for number 3, during the first week of a summer camp, 2 out of 3 campers were boys. During the second week, 3 out of 5 campers were boys. There were 15 total campers each week. During which week were there more boy campers? Explain. So compare those ratios. Look at this 15 number. And which week? The first or the second week? All right, work on those 3 and then come back when you're ready to check your answers. Okay, so I said make a table and extend the ratio. When one of the terms match, compare the other term. You may have said it a slightly different way, that's okay. So for this one, Adrian would have had 20. I knew he would get 4 hits for every 10 at bats, so I multiplied both terms by 5 and for 20 hits. Okay, now I made a couple of tables here, one for each of the ratios, and I found that there were more boys in week 2. Is that right? boys to total, 6 to 10. Okay. Now let's take a look at these other. To make plaster, Kevin mixes 3 cups of water with 4 pounds of plaster powder. Complete the ratio table. How much water will Kevin mix with 20 pounds of powder? So 3 cups of water to 4 pounds, and then it's starting to extend it here. Pounds of powder, we've got 4, 8, 12. If you went all the way to 20, how many cups of water would you have? And then here, Jenny makes plaster using a ratio of 4 cups of water to 5 pounds of plaster powder. So different ratio. Whose plaster recipe uses more water? Use the ratio table here and in exercise 4 to compare. So same thing, extend it. And then Kevin and Jenny each use 12 cups of water to make plaster. Who will make more plaster? So they have 2 different ratios of plaster to water, but in this, they each use 12 cups of water. So which one will end up with more plaster? So pause the video here and start it up again when you're ready to check your answers. Okay, so I completed the table and found the answer was 15 cups. And then for this one, I completed the table, and Jenny, because she ends up with 16, whereas Kevin only ends up with 15. And for this one, Kevin will end up with more plaster. When he used 12 cups of water, he used 16 cups of plaster, and Jenny only used 15. Okay? All right. That is it for today. I hope you're doing well with these, and I look forward to seeing you in small groups. Bye.